Um, Welcome to the July 14th AMA. So it's been almost a year since we started doing this last July, like late July. And as you know, we meet to share what's going on with the team, with the game, with the community, and answer questions, share news, maybe a leak or two. So yeah, let's get started. What's first on the agenda, Miss Farmer Michelle?
Oh, looks like we're gonna start right off with update on rewards and how they're going. Yep.
That would be me. So I think we shared this earlier that a lot of people were trying to exploit our achievement system by doing multi accounting. We blocked a lot of them, but we found that there were still quite a few left. That is why we could not send out your rewards last week. We actually had everything ready, but we found out there were already so many issues. So please give us some time to take a look at those accounts. It The current tentative time would be a week after the rewards are over. So 7th of August is when you can expect those achievement rewards. That's it.
Hey, so what
Awesome.
about the retention NFTs? I think we sent out one of those.
Yeah, the
Yes,
copper ore storage.
yes, I believe we did that yesterday. They should have gone out.
Okay, so that'll be in game pretty soon.
Yeah, that one will be right
Let's
in
see.
the update right after the competition, right?
I believe so, yeah. So what's next?
Oh, I guess I could do my weekly reminder that the town burn to Gala is ending September 15th. So anybody who has not yet swapped or burned their town into Gala should definitely do that. If you don't know how to do it, let me know and I will walk you through it. But you're running out of time. So make sure to get that done. Let's check in with social media and talk about Zeely.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk a little bit about Zeely. So, yeah, hey guys, we actually just started up a Zeely board. We finally got it underway. We were kind of back and forth on how to actually implement it, but we finally got something to kind of test out Zeely with. So right now, we basically have a bunch of quests that you can claim and basically do. And basically, Zeely is a really great way to just show much how you guys really love Townstar, and also just flex your creative muscles a little bit. You know, make some memes, make some maybe some short reels or TikToks, and just kind of show off a little bit about some fun Townstar content. But so far, I've been seeing some of you guys getting active on Twitter. I've been seeing some of the memes that you guys have been making, and they're really awesome. Nonetheless, we also going to have some other ways that you can earn Zeely XP, and we have a leaderboard going on right now. We have, I believe, over 130 members so far on the Zeely board, which is really awesome to see. So far, the latest quest that we had was actually attending this AMA. So if you guys are attending the AMA, check our Twitter and go and claim 50 XP right now. You can actually get 50 XP for attending this AMA, but you have to claim it through the Zeely board. So definitely check that out and don't leave it on the table. So what exactly is the XP used for? You're probably wondering. We actually are looking into maybe some surprises about how to really leverage it. So can't really divulge too much about it right now, but definitely you want to rack up as much XP as you can, compete a little bit with each other. You know, it's really fun, and just really have fun with it. We're gonna kind of see like what else we can do with the Zeely board going forward, and if you guys like it. Additionally, you guys have probably been hearing about Threads doing really hot as of late. We actually also have a Threads account, so you can also find us on Threads. We're doing some content on there, so yeah, be sure to check it out and support us. And that's all.
I still have to get myself over to Threads and check it out. I haven't even looked at it yet.
It's pretty cool. It's like a little bit more organized Twitter. I mean, it's still lacking some features, but it's pretty nice. But with that, I guess I'll throw it on over to Jason, to Volcron. And yeah, I almost dropped your real name. Almost.
Thanks. Sorry. Like his address is, hey guys. Yeah, I got an update on Fast Forward. Still working on it a bit. We're getting it ready for QA. Probably be ready for them by Monday. Like I mentioned, this is really important to the a lot of the features like mobile and other things. Basically, we just got to make sure it's 100%. And so right now, what we're doing is we're testing the locking and unlocking of Fast Forward. It's no surprise or news to a lot of our listeners that there was a feature, a bug or whatever, that certain fast forwards, it was taking longer than expected over the last week or so, and then a player would either intentionally reload or they would just get disconnected and reload or whatever, and that was causing multiple fast forwards to happen at the same time. And you would think like, oh, well, just lock yourself out of the town and don't let a fast forward happen. I'll get into more detail in a bit further on after some other topics, but basically, in order to solve this fast forward feature, that we have to first fully solve people being able to play from two machines at the same time. You could check our Discord channels and other bug reports and stuff. Obviously, some people are still able to do that. Um, it's not intended that you should ever be able to load the same town at the same time on two different machines. So that was not, we nicknamed that single session management. The intention is that when you log onto your new machine, you get kicked out of the old games, just severed, from the servers completely. And that fix comes first before we can fix the fast forward for various reasons. So there was some overlap also with what people are calling rollbacks. So it was a good week for looking deep into the bowels of how some of these systems, not just the game code, but our backend systems as well, how they work. And I can provide more details in a little bit when we get into the upcoming bug fixes. That's probably all I should say for now about the fast forward update.
Sweet. Let's move on to game updates that happened this week.
I think that's me. So, hey, everybody. So some fixes this week included some changes to cache and starts that had some wrong values last week. Those were updated. Also, the rare arcane earrings now properly reduce craft timer of copper in the forge. So that was fixed. Of course, we fixed some visual issues like the some with the Euro crafting table unit, and we worked a little bit on performance issues related to pop-ups. Those are fixes, but then onto additions and features. We added a new building, the Foundry, with its unit. We added two crafts, the Lobster Clasp and Bracelet. Of course, we added the Bracelet competition and meta, including its Study Town setup. And for new NFTs, we added the Coppersmith and Master Coppersmith, and of course, fireworks. So I know that a lot of people were asking about when fireworks, what's on with fireworks. I wanted to have them for 4th of July. That took a little longer after 4th of July, but fireworks are in the game right now. So I know that some people were really were asking for it for a long time. So we finally were able to get them in, along with some other priorities that we have regarding old NFTs. Then the biggest feature was time of day. So as you know, we released this thing in which you'll see faces of the day. Right now, it's purely visual. The idea is that eventually we can potentially do something with that gameplay-wise, like for example, how does nighttime affect crops, or maybe we can have rain coming in at some point. So those are kind of the future steps that we want to take this in. Now I know that you guys, there's been some controversy, or some people don't necessarily like it. Some people do love it. We have some mixed comments from the community. Farmer Michelle is asking around to get your opinion on it. If you have specific issues, like you see something that is wrong, please send us screenshots. Maybe you're seeing something that it shouldn't be. But right now we're working on making some changes to it, like changing the speed and the colors of some of the faces. And we'll work on a toggle eventually to turn it off, so you guys can decide whether or not you like it in the game, or you just want the plain old version. But from the people that really love it, I love to see the input from you guys saying, "Hey, like this is looking great." Specifically, I saw a lot of love for the dusk phase, even some for the nighttime. Even though nighttime is like 10 seconds, some people really seem to like that. So thank you guys for all the feedback. Either way, right? So that's all very useful to us. And the last update we did was that we increased the size of all units by 25%. So this is something that Sage was asking for a while, and that a lot of people wanted that too. So you may have noticed that all units are bigger now, and I think that's very useful, and it looks way better. So yeah, I mean that's what happened this week. Just two big updates, but a lot of things in both of them.
Awesome, thank you. I love the time of day. I love the nighttime one, the way like everything looks dark and some of the buildings have like lights and stuff on them. That 888 orb looks so cool in the dark. All right, so let's move on to what is happening next in the game here.
Actually, let me jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Michelle, you and I, we had an interesting exchange there a little earlier in the week where we are talking about the time of day. And I actually sent you some screenshots from an early dev version with the new art. And then you took some shots from your screen, and we saw how radically different things looked. And so one of the things, kind of called out to us was the idea that, hey, sometimes we're going to have to look at kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, the average brightness on people's screens, how people run their monitors, how it shows up on, I don't know, iPads and everything else, because it can show some radically different results. And I'm going to pop up and share a couple of what do you call it? A couple of images here real quick. If that's all right. Is that all right if I share your town there, Michelle?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
I did notice that when I was looking at it on my computer screen and then I took the screenshot and sent it to you. It looked different when I looked at the screenshot on my phone than it did on my computer screen because I've got my computer screen with all the brightness turned down and the blue lights all turned down. So stuff was harder to see on my computer screen than it actually was. It was just my computer settings that made it hard to see.
Got it. All right, so let me go ahead and turn it. Let me go ahead and pop those images up right now real quick. Okay, so this first one is going to be the image that you shared and the look you had. And then the second one is going to be the dev image. And I think both of them are at dusk. So here we go. It's going up there right now in Discord. So you can see how we're just going to have to work on figuring out how to make this, kind of consistent across everybody. Turn offable, like Pablo said. There you go. It's just a
Yeah,
different view.
the new colors look really nice with the new art. I think it's going to look awesome once the new art goes into the game also. All together, it looks really, really nice together.
That does. So we're working. You guys can see with the new kind of the goal and the direction we're aiming for here. So now it's just a matter of syncing the two there. That's all. Just wanted to share that before we moved off of the time of day issue.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to what's coming next for game updates and stuff. I think that's probably Volcron. Next bugs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go over the first thing that people call rollbacks. We don't roll anybody back. That was a I guess you could call it a corrective measure or a punishment measure in the Play Canvas version of Townstar. And that was done back then, it was a totally different product, and it was done to address people who, unscrupulously adjusted their towns. Well, we don't have that problem here because it's server authoritative, right? But in what's happening actually is that even though, like, we all know that this game is server authoritative, you can't place a building without the server telling you it's okay to place the building, and so on. But in the back end, that server is actually talking through this whole slew of tech layers, whatever, load balancers, and all this. Eventually, your town gets written to a database. So if that database is having trouble saving your town, we, as devs, are not doing a great job telling you what's going on in the back end and saying, like, hey, your town wasn't saved in the past like 2 minutes or whatever. Like, there's problems going on. And you would think, well, one response is like, oh, well, just pause the game and freeze everything completely until it's saved. Don't let me play, that kind of thing. Well, okay, I mean that's one solution, right? But the other is, so think about when you use cloud-based apps like Google Docs, right? At the top of the screen, you've got these little status icons, and they tell you whether it's currently saving or whether it's saved to the drive or whatever. Um, you wouldn't want to be locked out of editing your document because there's some network burp, right? The assumption is that you're playing honestly, that there may be a hiccup, and it'll be resolved in a few seconds. So while on one end we're streamlining the database and fixing the back end and making sure that all this gets saved properly, on the other, we have to, as a player, the player experiences, you have to smooth the front end out so that you're not interrupting play and pointing out like, oh my gosh, there was a half second distract or a half second where you couldn't save or something. So it's a balancing act between communicating to the player when there's really a warning state, like, hey, it's been 90 seconds, maybe refresh the page or something, versus hiding some of that until it's urgent, right? So the back end part, our back end drives have been fixing that, making sure the database properly responds, it reconnects when necessary, all that. And then on the front end, we're talking about different ways to communicate to the player, what the status is. That way, you're not in a town playing, like for some people, like an hour straight and having no idea that your town is saving. That's not a great feeling, right? And that's somewhere that I've no problem saying that we didn't do a great job communicating to the player when your town is in that state. So we could do into all the different disconnect reasons as well. But I guess that kind of touches on another big thing, is just communicating um, to the clients, whether it's mobile or whether it's the web right now, the status of the connection and the server and all that in general. There's like a dozen or more reasons that something could be happening. Like if you got logged out of Gala, if your game data is out of date, if your app needs an update, if on occasion, like if a server crashes or gets reaped, because of memory usage or something, there's all these reasons that gameplay can get interrupted. So right now we're finding that sweet spot between, bother the player and let them know everything about our whole system versus, well, let's create this state where you can enjoy the game and play it, and it will do its best to be fault tolerant and save when possible and alert you when you need to take action. Reload the screen, or a lot of it is load balanced and you'll reconnect anyway. So that's kind of the biggest stuff right now that we're thinking about, is just reducing the frustration people have when they don't know. You're like, what's a spinning T mean, or what's this pop-up mean, and stuff like that. So I would say those are the biggest things right now. Besides that, of course, we talked about time of day a little bit, and I was chatting in Discord here, but I think somebody touched on mobile, the touch and drag features, that's getting better. And then it's probably also worth mentioning that we're increasing our hardware devices, the number of types of mobile devices that we're going to be testing the game on, and they're not virtual, right? So we're doing like actual device testing. So I think that would be our biggest priority on bugs and such. So back to you, Michelle.
Well, I think we skipped something, right? What's coming next for the game, in terms not of bugs but of features. Main focus right now, as you guys know, is mobile. So we did fix a couple things this week. There's like a pinch zoom fix for mobile devices. But we have a couple of engineers devoted exclusively to that. So again, you may have seen a little improvement, but we're still testing further improvements. We want to force mobile browsers to display the game on landscape mode. So that's coming. We're hoping to have it ready next week at some point. but some things have already gone out. And FTU is the next priority. That means that you'll see as a new, not you guys because you've been playing for a time, right? But new players will see some pop-ups and some more information about what to do first in the game. Maybe, oh, there's a lot of noise. Ninja Surprise, I think your mic is open.
No, mine's closed. See that anything?
Oh, it's Farmer Michelle.
Farmer Michelle, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, anyways, so it's okay. So, mobile first priority. Some changes already out. Expect more soon, and then FTE for new users. We want a little bit of tutorial for them to not be so lost. We'll redirect them hopefully to videos, pages, maybe even Discord, so that they can learn the game properly. And those are the main priorities right now, outside of bug fixes, of course.
Awesome.
So what's next?
We are moving into Q&A. Here, the first question I have says, is it possible to add the competition's Metacraft items production rate on the leaderboard? This will allow users to know what to aspire to in order to climb to the top of the leaderboard.
I love that idea. I think we must have that in the game. It's just it will take a little bit of work. So give us some time, but we will add it into the pipeline.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. I know everyone used to have like a script as an add-on that would show people's rates on their leaderboards, so that'd be nice to be able to see that again. The next question that I have here says,
Well, wait a second. I think we got a guest that just popped in. If you want to come up on stage, Mr. Bitbender, welcome.
Hey.
Here, I got him on. Hey, Bitbender, how's it going?
There we go.
It's going pretty good, guys. How's it going for you?
Going great.
Awesome.
Good.
Hey, I don't have a ton of time, but people have been DMing me about the space and some things that I feel are being slightly taken out of context here. Regarding the, talking to Stash yesterday. So quick clarification here. This does not mean that I do not like Townstar as a game. It just means that it's not the type of game that I personally like to play. Okay. I am not nearly smart enough to handle like the high end, spreadsheet building, town management stuff that some of you guys do. Does not mean that I don't think that it's not a good game. It's a kick-ass game, and I know that people love it. But going off of the conversation with Stash yesterday, it isn't a game that I spend time playing, but I don't spend time playing any game right now, which you guys know. Like all of the games that I've played in the past few months, few years really, you guys have seen me play on stream. So I just wanted to clarify that point really quick.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Sounds absolutely normal. There's a lot of games that I play or dabble in, but I suck at, or I just don't have time to spend the devote to become the expert.
Precisely.
That everybody
I
else
always get wrecked trying to make gas, like always, every single freaking time. And it's like I know if I sit down and figure it out, I can do that, but I don't have time. I just don't have time. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understand that. I don't personally think that Townstar should be canceled or anything of that nature. It's just not a style of game that I personally enjoy playing because it hurts my brain. That's all.
Thanks for stopping by. Any other like momentary words of wisdom? Some big vision? I don't know. You're always involved with such cool things across everything Gala.
There is so much stuff going on, guys, right now. It's not even funny. I'm sitting here right now. I'm getting ready to hop into another meeting, but I've got the white paper that they just sent me over from Rep, and I think it's gonna absolutely blow your guys' minds. In terms of what they're looking to do, Gala Friends is going to be their first basically private social network that gets stood up, and then from there it will expand out to the rest of the rest of opening things up for people. So I'm super excited about that because it's going to be absolutely kick ass, and it will. I think it's going to be exactly what we need in terms of friends functionality and being able to bring people to the game, but then also being able to bring people into the network, inviting your friends and things like that.
Sharing, trading, all those cool things that we all used to do back in the day on social games.
Exactly. So it's
awesome.
Pretty cool. There's obviously going to be some. They're building a bunch of tools, and then games will need to work those tools in on their side. But yeah, it's got all the stuff, and my favorite part about it is I don't know if you guys remember MySpace. Some of you do, I'm sure. Yeah. Now the thing that I loved about MySpace was that you could make your profile actually yours, right? You could customize it and you could do cool stuff with it.
Eye bleeding sometimes, so eye bleeding and shocking. Some of the effects people.
Oh yeah, people had the most amazing looking profiles. It was really cool. And then everyone kind of went to Facebook, and it's like, okay, you get to experience this the way that Zuck wants you to experience it, and if you don't like that, that's too bad. There's going to be another thing where they're going to change the entire thing in another 3 weeks or something like that. And so what they're doing is your profiles are modular, and they have an entire developer portal where you can go in as a developer and you can build modules for people's profiles and sell those to people, and then they can use those to build out their own profiles to make them how they really want them to look. So I'm super excited about that.
That's cool.
But
that's cool. That's a little bit of great extra.
Yeah, it's a little alpha for you guys. I have to go because I have to jump into another meeting, but I just wanted to stop in and clarify that and make sure that everybody understands the spirit in which that was said.
Awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Bye.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, that was interesting.
Surprise guest.
Yeah, great of being Banter to join us. I know that some people were talking about that in the in Discord. So yeah, great timing. So what's next, Michelle?
Oh, I forget what we were even talking about a second ago. I was so excited to see Bitbender join us. I think I was reading the Q&A questions. My question is, are the reward structure for the competition going to be the same in the future? I think that's Case Rastra.
Oh, I am so sorry. I missed that. Could you please repeat, Hisham?
Yeah, the question was, is the reward structure for the competitions going to remain the same after the May events end here in a few weeks?
So we actually set the reward structure before May Mayhem. It had nothing to do with May Mayhem. So right now we don't have any such plans to change them right after May Mayhem. That should be it.
Awesome. Do we have any other live questions here quick before we move on to anything?
I'm looking. I'm in. There's something about I have the game. Any questions, guys? Since we're in the Q&A section, or maybe we can do another Q&A section at the end after all the leaks. Yeah, I don't see any particular questions right now. So let's compile a few after the leaks, and we can get back to them.
Yeah, let's do that. We're moving on to leaks. Do we want to start with art while people gather their questions and ask them?
Okay, are we doing our rework?
I think we lost Mark.
Sage?
Oh, sorry.
Sage, are you here?
Just, there's a lot of background noise for a second over here. I was trying to keep it muted till it finished. What is it? Art time? Yeah, it was some cool art. Hey, one of the things that everybody talks about, or not talks about or worries about, some people have messaged me about like please do not increase the complexity of the art and make this, just slow down my machine. It's running pretty good right now. Don't slow it down. So first thing I wanted to share, is we're looking at these grapes here, right? And we show the approved concept, the original 3D model, then the wireframe, and then there's a new update. And you could see from the original 3D model in the current game right now, there is about 1,115 tries. New version of the art has 493. So I just want to keep emphasizing that to people so that they know, look, we're not just going blindly increasing all the polygons and the complexity, and that we are very much aware of performance of people's machines. Next thing I'll just share a couple of other bits of art there. The mill worker. These are just things that are in development, work in progress. Give you again, guys, some insights on how things are going. As we look at the big oak shed there, approved concept, the original model, a lot of tries there, 2,280, and then we get down to about 2,000. So every chance we get, we're shaving, trying to optimize and keep the art looking great, but working on, like I said, performance. Last thing I'm going to share up here. This is the process that I go through each 3 to 5 times a week with the artists. We look at new concepts. We look at how they are coming back either from the external art team or we're getting them internally created. And we just go through one by one, looking at them and like how to make them look good in the new style and, consistent. So one of the things when you're there, look at the Sauce Alchemist, right? One of my big comments was that, wow, that looks like a Muppet almost, right? It doesn't really look like the other characters. So how do we turn that to look more in line with the faces and the body and the shape of other characters, but still keep the distinctiveness, right? And then you see the Master Wizard Tower. That thing's actually ginormous, and the discussion we had about that is that actually breaks the rules that we know work really well for 3D ISO games. And one of those rules are to successive higher floors need to actually be visually smaller than the lower the base. And you can kind of see that as you look into the back there at the Dough Bakery. You can see the first floor is actually taller if you just set it side by side with the second floor. So anyways, there's a quick update on stuff that's going on with art. I'm asking the team to create the plans and the pipeline for getting this out to everybody. But we do have an internal running build with it that we use to review the game. And that is it that we have for art today.
Awesome. I think our next section of leaks here is to talk about the current competition and the ghost card reward, or the blueprint reward, to stop calling them ghost cards, for this current competition.
Right. So the current competition is bracelets. So that's ending pretty soon. The reward is the Thrifty Foundry. As you know, we release them in different rarities, with the uncommon one being given according to certain criteria, not for positions in the leaderboard. I can tell you that the top one is the luxury Thrifty Foundry, reduces material by 40% and cash costs by 40% to build the foundry. And this is stackable with other bonuses, but only one Thrifty bonus, foundry bonus may apply at any time. So yeah, I mean, you saw it last week. It looks pretty good. We'll drop that asset again, and that will be released pretty soon. It will be delivered through the rewards airdrop soon. So yeah, and then what's going on with the next competition, Michelle?
For the next competition, what we've decided to do is let you guys make earrings and bracelets. Again, you can choose whichever one you'd like. We're going to cash boost or star boost both of them. So we set earrings at, I think we set earrings at 100,000 stars and bracelets at 96,000 stars. So you guys will have to decide which one you'd rather make, or both, whatever tickles your fancy. As some people say, we're also cash boosting both wool and milk. So milk will be $10,000 each, $10,000 each, and wool will be $7,500 each for sales. So that should be a pretty good cash rush for everybody. Let's see what else is. It's going to be 40-second trade time with 1 gas. The biome will be Plains North, that will have an oil seep in it. There's going to be a north desert and an east desert. The south side is going to be a forest, and the west side will be a river, so everybody can set up their animals nice and early, rush that milk and wool. And I feel like that was everything. Yep. So as a reminder, that's both chandelier earrings and bracelets. You can make whichever one you'd like. They're going to be different star values. I'll post that all in an announcement right after the AMA. We've got an oil seep. It's back to 1 gas. And I think that's it. The reward for playing for this month, the free NFT for storage for playing for the month of July, is a silver ore storage. Those are usually sent out about halfway through the next month, so keep playing through July, and those will be out halfway through August. That's all I've got. Do we want to move on to this week's sale items?
Yes, that would be me. So actually there was one more change that is going live today. The Foundry craft time is gonna be reduced to 30 seconds. So they'll become a lot more useful now. Coming to the sale items, we have 2 sale items this week. First, we have the Green Forge. This eco-friendly forge operates without causing disruptions to its surrounding and eliminates the need for wood when crafting metal. Additionally, like the unit that it comes with will also deliver the metal directly to your foundries or wire mills. So that should give you an interesting way of optimizing your build. Here are all the details. It's going to be priced at $90, but will cost only $60 until the competition ends. Next up, we have the second artifact coming out called the Arcane Ring. Your ore storages and jewelry stores will have 20 extra capacity. This is a new type of effect. All of them will have 20 extra capacity. They can be built instantly without any requirements and cast no shade. So you will be able to put your panning sites closer to your ore storages at least. Once again, I'll remind everyone you can only have 4 arcane artifacts active at any point in time, so do choose wisely. Yes, I think that's about all I have on the sale items today.
Sweet, we flew through this AMA.
Very.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the new building yet?
What new building?
The Penner House.
No. I didn't want to say something I wasn't supposed to say. So no, we have not talked about the Panner Bunkhouse at all.
But we are in the leak section, so if you want to say something, maybe you want to do it now.
Now is the time. Go for it.
So next week, apart from the Foundry change, we are also adding a new building to the game called the Panner Bunkhouse. This is kind of like your forklifts and loggers, except the unit will not move faster. It will come with 2 units that move at the same speed. So it's actually it becomes a lot better than your Panner house. But on the flip side, it will have 2 shades. So you will have to figure out how to place them around your panning sites or wherever you want to.
I think we set the build requirements for that at 5 lumber, 5 wood, and 5 energy. And I think the cost was $75,000. It should be the same as like an ATV would be.
Yes, I believe that's correct too.
So the only live questions I had gathered through all of those leaks were, just let me scroll back up here. Will the events be weekly still? Which I see you answered in the chat, and the answer to that was yes. Someone was asking about offline mode, even though we talked about it. I don't know if anyone wants to quick summarize again offline mode.
Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Summary is, we just want to make sure that you can only play one game from one account at the same time first. We know that there are people who can log into the same town from 2+ computers. That's not great for your town. please don't do that. And we're putting in more of the single session stuff to stop you from doing that. That was a stepping stone to fixing the offline play as well.
And the only other question I saw asked a couple times was if we had any update on the Noir Hero. I know it's a different kind of NFT. It's not an ERC 1155. It's an ERC 721. So I think it's a little bit more complicated to get it into the game. I don't know if we have any updates on that at all.
Yeah, so we have the unit, like it's the functionality is mostly there. We're just figuring out that last part, like how do we tap into this different type of NFT. I have it in the pipeline, along with other bug fixes and all things that we want to include. So, for example, what I can say now, since we're still kind of leaking, is that all of the phishing stuff that it's missing will go out early next week. So I know that some people are asking for it. So those buildings related to fishing and worm farming and all those kind of things. I think that Wasabi Farm was also missing. So those things will all go into the game. So that's a continuous effort of us to go back and include some of the things that we left out at some point back into the game, so you guys can have more options. How to play and what to prioritize and so on. So that goes out, and the North Hero is also something that I want out. As you saw this week, we released the fireworks. That took a little time because we were also working on new content, but we got it done and it's out, so for you to enjoy. So thank you guys for your patience.
Billy, I see. Sorry.
Yes. I see people asking about can we alternate old and new metas. So that is a feedback we've actually heard from a lot of people, and we are discussing it right now. We'll get back to you on what we can do about it. So.
Billy, I see you asked a question about the Noir Hero and just taking the NFT and giving new NFTs. That's definitely not something that we're going to do. That NFT it's a collectible item, right, from, was it Frank Miller's collection? So it's, they're linked to certain people. They're ERC 721. So we're not just going to give people new NFTs and take those back. That's definitely not going to happen. Any other live questions here? Can we get an apply all button to the fireworks and the ornaments? Do we have plans to add an apply all button for fireworks and ornaments?
We don't have that in the pipeline. Maybe it could be something easy that we can knock out. So I'll talk to the team. We'll set up something for that. I see Dash Riptruck saying, I have questions. When fix not here someday? It's not only someday. As I told you before, like we released a fix to the fireworks. So I think we're getting close to that one. Yeah. What other questions do we have?
Let me see if I can find any more. That's all I had for live questions. So unless we've got more coming in. PD Renee is asking about when earning is going to start back up. We've put mobile as a priority above it. So we're still waiting on some more news on maybe adjusting the systems. As we said a couple of weeks ago, we were looking at the Spider Tanks economy and how all of that works and using some of that thinking to look at our own before we go live again. So we will let you know as soon as we have an update. You definitely don't need to ask that question multiple times, though. That's spamming the chat and against the rules, so please stop. I don't know if we have any information. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mitchell.
The blueprint for this week's competition. I don't know if we've got that information ready to announce yet. I can try to get it out Monday.
I don't think that's fully ready, but I do have the asset for this current competition, which I'm putting there in Discord. So the Thrifty Foundry looks good. That's a luxury version, of course, and we'll get the next one's information to you guys as soon as possible. I see a question about minting issue. What issue are we seeing right now in minting? As far as I know, all our systems are working on platform.
I believe that the Gala minting is still on pause while we look into some stuff. I don't know if Case Restaurant knows much about that either.
I'm sorry, I missed. What was the question?
Do you have any update on when Gala minting will be back? I think it's still paused on the
Let me check
platform
on that.
side.
Let me check on that as soon as I can.
Yeah, we'll ask the
Okay, so
platform team guys and we'll let you know.
yeah, like we don't actually control that, but we'll look into it and get back to you guys. Thank you for the question. I think that also something I can do. We got a nice video here for not only time of day as we expect it to look eventually, but also ties into the artwork stuff that Sage was sharing. So I'll post that there for you guys to check. It's a little long, so just take a look when you can. I think it looks really nice, and that's what you can expect from the look of the game pretty soon. Well, that loads. Do we have any other final questions?
I see Brent asking a question about how we do our monthly storage NFTs and if we can release them in advance of new plans for new storylines. We certainly could, but that would give away all of the fun if you got some kind of storage for something that you didn't even know was coming into the game. It doesn't really like work out properly with timelines and leaks, which is probably why it's not been done before. I don't know if
Well,
people would be excited about finding out about a storage NFT for something that they don't even know what is yet.
well, we are sharing what's coming next, right? The next one is silver storage. So you guys know that that's going to be useful um, next month too, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to do with the storylines, like the jewelry, different jewelry matters, is tie everything into that. Not only the sale items, of course, that are useful for that. So they should be useful for at least 3 months or more. But also the retention NFTs also tie into that, right? So when you get the silver storage, you'll know that that will be useful in the upcoming competitions too. So that's something that maybe wasn't done well before, and we're trying to fix that. So trying to have a good comprehensive, you know, storyline where you'll know kind of like where we're going. So you're seeing the ore storages and the mining and the panners and the bunkhouse, and that all ties into the next 2 or 3 and maybe even more months, along with other older competitions or storylines too.
Lecco, I see you made a comment about that the art is wonderful, but we should be prioritizing fixing bugs. I hope that you realize that the people who are doing the art and the drawing and stuff are not the same people who are coding the game, and they are two different people. So, like, the artists who are spending their time making, adjustments to the buildings and the lighting and shading are not the same people who are coding the game and fixing bugs. So they don't really cancel each other out. It's not like we've got artists taking time off of coding to do shading. That's not how it works.
But that would make things so easy, right? If artists could just code.
It would make it easier, but that is not how it works. If we don't have any other live questions, we can call it a morning, and then the rest of us can get back to work. I'm not sure where the progress is on the bugs for the mazes. I will see. I think the only issue left is that they're not doubling the speed of cows and sheeps. I will check on that for you guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, any other live questions? I don't think we have any updates on timelines for getting onto Gala Chain currently.
Yeah, so the getting onto Geary was a priority when we were prioritizing daily challenges. Of course, as you know, we're reviewing that. We want to get into Geary anyways, right? So we'll figure out whether it makes sense to speed up that process right now while we look for a better model for your earnings, right? Um, but it's definitely something that is useful, right? We know Geary has lower, almost nothing regarding gas fees. So yeah, so that's one of the many vectors that we're looking at. Um, Geary is definitely something we want to get onto. Actually, now it's not called Geary, right? what's the what's the official name that we're going
We'll just
with?
go with
Gala
Gala
Chain.
Chain. Yeah, just call it Gala Chain.
Yeah, so that is, Gala Chain has had kind of like a naming going back and forth, but now it's settled in Gala Chain. So that's the actual name for you guys to know from now on.
All right,
Cool.
well,
I
let's
think that
call it a morning. Yep.
don't make me do stack boxes again.